This is Brian Shapiro with the Joanne Forster team at Compass in Miami, Florida. We developed this proprietary market activity dashboard to help us closely monitor the impact of COVID-19 to the local market. So let's take a look at what's happened as of yesterday. One of the main indicators we're watching is the correlation between new contracts and canceled sales. How many buyers are putting homes under contract despite the current environment, and how many buyers that have had homes under contract are backing out for whatever reason. And on a positive note, what we see is the number of new contracts climbed this week into Monday. It's steadied out a little, but it's definitely lower than what we had seen in correlation to the number of cancellations last week. So yesterday we had 73 new contracts versus only 32 new cancellations. That's a very positive sign, and we hope to see that trend continue. Another metric that we're watching closely is the number of new listings versus homes that are being taken off the market. And what we see is a very tight correlation where almost the same number of sellers who are deciding to enter the market for the first time and listing their home for sale versus the number of sellers who have been on the market and are taking their homes off the market. So yesterday, for example, we had 97 new listings and 118 listings come off the market. So we're still seeing more homes coming off the market than going on the market, but it's a pretty tight correlation between the two. And again, this is a trend we're going to have to continue to watch closely. In terms of closed sales, we can see that we had somewhat of a spike on Monday. That number has come down considerably Tuesday and yesterday, and all week has trailed the week prior. So on Monday we had 58 closed sales versus 104 last week, about half. On Tuesday we had 39 closed sales versus 68 the week prior. Versus 88 the week prior, so less than half. And yesterday we had 22 closed sales versus 68 the week prior, so that's a 66% reduction in the number of closed sales yesterday versus the week prior. That's a very troublesome sign that we're going to have to continue to monitor closely. In terms of new contracts, these are buyers who are putting homes under contract despite the current environment. And so what we see is that, as expected, we had a pretty sharp decrease in contracts into the weekend. That number rose on Monday. It's kind of steadied out on Tuesday and yesterday. However, still lower than last week. That's another trend we're going to have to continue to monitor closely. Canceled sales, we talked about how many buyers who have been under contract have decided for whatever reason to cancel those contracts. That number has shot up into Monday, come down somewhat on Tuesday and Wednesday. And fortunately, this week, cancellations are down over last week. So yesterday, for example, we had 32 canceled contracts versus 37 the week prior. So that's a very positive sign. Fewer buyers canceling existing contracts. We'll continue to watch that as well. In terms of new listings, these are sellers who are deciding to put their house on the market to get out ahead of the current environment. So we saw that number rose steadily into Monday. It's come down somewhat, but not too much, but it's under last week's pace. So on Tuesday, we had 128 new listings compared to 154 the week prior. And yesterday, we had 97 new listings compared to 133 the week prior. In terms of reductions, last week, we had more reductions than we're seeing this week. Perhaps last week we had more of a knee-jerk reaction. This week sellers are taking more of a wait-and-see attitude to see how long this may last, how bad it may get, and what effect, if any, the massive government intervention is going to have. In terms of homes being taken temporarily off the market, we saw a spike last week, but this week we're seeing more sellers temporarily take their homes off the market. That could be for up to 90 days per current MLS rules. So on Monday, we had 67 homes temporarily taken off the market versus 46 the week prior. Tuesday, we had 47 taken off the market versus 23 the week prior. That's twice as many this week as last week. And yesterday we had 54 taken off the market versus 19 the week prior. So that's almost a 64% increase in homes being temporarily taken off the market this week. We'll continue to monitor that. In terms of sellers permanently taking homes off the market and canceling their listings, we see a sharp spike coming into Monday. It's leveled off a little Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's lower than it was the week prior. So these are all very interesting trends. This is countywide in Miami-Dade County across all price ranges and property types. Let's quickly take a look at just the single family segment of the market. So these are single family homes across Miami-Dade County in all price ranges. And what we see is that new contracts remain surprisingly strong relative to canceled sales for single family homes in Miami-Dade County. So yesterday we had 47 new contracts versus only 21 canceled contracts. That's a very positive sign. We hope to see that continue into the future. We see that same correlation of homes being put on the market as taken off the market as we saw across all property types. In terms of closed sales, again, we see this divergence where the number of closed sales has fallen sharply this week, especially relative to last week. So yesterday we had 9 single-family homes close versus 33 the week prior. That is a significant drop-off in closed sales for single-family homes, a worrisome sign that we will continue to monitor closely. New contracts remain surprisingly strong, as I mentioned, for single-family homes. And while there were somewhat more contracts last week, as of yesterday, we were in parity. So yesterday we had 47 new single-family contracts versus 48 the week prior. In terms of canceled sales, we've seen quite an increase in the number of canceled sales for single-family homes, pretty much in par with what we saw last week. So yesterday, for example, we had 21 canceled sales versus 19 the week before. Still a high number, but at least the trend's not accelerating this week. We'll continue to watch that. In terms of new listings, on Monday we had quite a spike of new listings. I think sellers trying to get out in front of what's going on. That settled down somewhat and become in parity with what we saw last week. Price reductions are down compared to what we saw last week, but still relatively high. In terms of sellers taking their homes off the market, we see that the number rose into Monday and then has come down and then stabilized as of yesterday, both higher than what we saw last week. So yesterday we saw 26 homes being taken off the market versus just 6 the week prior. So, that is a 400% or so increase week over week, and definitely something that we'll have to continue watching. In terms of canceled listings, we saw a sharp increase in cancellation of single-family listings, lower than what we saw last week, and then coming into parity. So that's what we're watching right now in the single-family segment across Miami-Dade County. If we go ahead and look at the condo and co-op segment quickly across Miami-Dade County, what we see is that the number of new contracts has come down and leveled off, but so has the number of cancellations. So this type of delta where we see 18 new contracts versus just 5 cancellations yesterday, that's a positive trend in the condo market that will definitely hope to continue and we'll monitor closely. In terms of new condo listings versus condos being taken off the market, we don't see as close of a correlation as we saw in the market overall and in the single family segment. What we see is that there's been somewhat more condos being taken off the market as listed. Yesterday we had 30 new condo listings versus 47 condos taken off the market. We'll have to watch and see if that trend continues and if that delta expands. In terms of closed sales, we've definitely seen a deceleration of closed sales, especially related to last week. So last Monday, we had 22 Last Monday we had 41 closed sales. This Monday we had 22 closed sales, pretty much a 50% reduction. Last Tuesday we had 39 closed sales versus 16 this week, a very significant over 50% reduction. And yesterday we had 9 closed sales versus 27 the week before. So that is a very significant deceleration week over week, a troublesome sign we'll have to continue to monitor closely. In terms of new contracts, we've seen those kind of level off, although yesterday is now in parity with the week before. There was a fairly big gap between this Tuesday and last Tuesday. Last Tuesday we had 41 new contracts versus only 17 new condo contracts yesterday. On Tuesday, but as of yesterday, that number had come into parity. In terms of canceled sales, we saw cancellations decrease into the weekend, then rise rapidly. But on a positive sign, we've seen that number come down compared to last week. So last Tuesday, we had 15 cancellations, only 5 as of yesterday. That is a major decrease, a very, very positive sign. We love to see that delta continue to grow and accelerate. In terms of new condo listings, we've had a decrease this week, especially compared to last week. So last Wednesday, we had 58 new condo listings. This week we only had 30. Price reductions, we see that, again, just as we saw in the overall market, fewer sellers this week are reducing the prices of their condos relative to what we saw last week. In terms of condos being temporarily taken off the market, we see a huge spike in the number of condos being taken off the market, and especially compared to last week. So last Tuesday, we only had 12 condos taken off the market. We had 25 taken off the market this Tuesday. That's twice as many this week as last week. Yesterday, we had 23 condos taken off the market versus just 10 the week prior. That's over twice as many. That's a sign we'll continue to have to monitor. Cancellations are down this week relative to last week, so that is a positive sign. And finally, and I appreciate you bearing with me all this time, we'll just quickly look at the $1 to $3 million price segment and see how that's holding out compared to the overall market. And this is for single family homes, condos, townhomes priced between 1 and 3 million. We see that new contracts actually rose into Monday. They've come down somewhat, then rebounded yesterday versus cancellations, which have remained fairly steady. So yesterday there were 6 new properties between 1 and 3 million that went under contract versus only 2 contracts in that price range that were canceled yesterday. New listings versus off-market listings in the 1 to 3 million range. We see that the number of new listings has come down and is lower than the number of homes being taken off the market. More affluent sellers can afford to wait and see. And so what we see in the lower price ranges in the market is more sellers reducing, keeping their homes on the market, putting new listings onto the market. But in the higher price ranges, we see more and more sellers taking their homes off the market and moving forward in a wait and see posture. In terms of closed sales in the 1 to 3 million range, we see that there's been very few. There was 3 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and only 1 yesterday. And that compares to 8 last week on Monday, 7 last Tuesday, and 7 last Wednesday. And so we definitely have a major decrease in the number of closed sales in the 1 to 3 million range. New contracts was trailing last week, but as of yesterday is up compared to what we saw last week. That's a very positive sign. Buyers in the 1 to 3 million price range seem to be getting their footing back this week, but we'll have to see if that trend holds. In terms of canceled sales, we also see the number is down compared to last week, another very positive sign. In terms of new listings of $1 to $3 million homes, condos, and townhouses, we saw a nice increase coming into Monday and Tuesday, down somewhat yesterday, and back into parity with what we saw the week before. In terms of price reductions in the upper range of the market, what we see is sellers mostly adopting a wait and see attitude. This week, last week, we saw what might have been more knee jerk reactions. We saw 15 reductions on last Monday. We saw 16 reductions last Tuesday. We saw 16 last Wednesday, but this Monday we only saw 6, Tuesday 5, and yesterday 6. So, almost a third this week is what we saw last week. In terms of $1 to $3 million homes, condos, and townhomes being temporarily taken off the market, we did see a spike coming into Tuesday, a fairly sharp decline on Tuesday, and then back up yesterday, and all trending ahead of what we saw last week. For cancellations of listings, we've seen an increase and then back down yesterday, and so yesterday was below the week before. Last Wednesday, we had 8 homes, condos, and townhomes in the 1 to 3 million range cancel their listings, and yesterday we only had 4. So half as many properties were canceled yesterday as the week before, and we'll have to continue to monitor that and see where things are heading. We hope that this update was informative for you. As always, we are here for you in any way we can, whether you're a current client, a past client, or not a client at all. Please do not hesitate to direct message us. Give us a call at 305-504-8267. Any questions you have about the market, whether you're thinking about buying or selling, and you want to know how it impacts you or the market overall, we're here for you. We will run this report for your individual circumstance, send you a PDF as well as a video walkthrough, and answer any questions you may have. And we will see you tomorrow for another update. Thank you very much. Bye.